This is Walk and Talk 100. It's March 10th. It's 47 degrees, Mesa, Arizona. Have you ever noticed that it's easy not to care? I don't care. Have you noticed that sometimes you can truly care? So the title of this Walk and Talk is I Don't Care, or I Truly Care. I'm going to give you 7 ideas to help you care. Somehow, if you could summarize Jesus, he would care. He cares for you. Compassion. Chapter 1, verse 27. I'm going to read this one verse and give you an opportunity to identify with me 7 ideas, 7 ways to help you care. We live in a world where it's easy not to care. It's easy to walk away. It's easy to not get involved. But James chapter 1 verse 27 says, pure and undefiled religion. Now in this context, religion means Christianity. It's a positive term, not a negative term. Pure and undefiled Christianity. James 1:27. In the sight of our God and Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. Now, from verse 27, James 1:27, to help you care for people, not become apathetic, not become isolated. Lots of people run away from other people. To help you care and get rid of the I don't care attitude, there's 7 ideas. So first off, notice in verse 27, James 1:27, it says pure and undefiled religion. Now remember, that word religion means Christianity. Pure and undefiled Christianity. So the word pure is our first idea. The idea of pure means holy. It means right before God. So if you want to be right before God, if you want to be holy before God, if you want to do right by God, pure is a challenge for every one of us. So right off, verse 27 is talking about doing right before God. So notice there is a right. Something can be pure, something can be holy, and there's a wrong. So things can be wrong. So if you want to care for people, you're on the right track. When you get lazy, when you get angry or passive aggressive, or you get silent and you want to pout, you want to sour, you want to disconnect, you're violating James 1:27, because it says to be pure, meaning right before God. So there is a right and a wrong. So compassion is right. Caring is right. Compassion is right before God. It says it's pure. Lots of people struggle with this thing called holiness. Lots of people struggle with this thing called purity. And I would just encourage you to understand there is right and wrong before God. And lots of people don't want to be pure. They don't want to be holy. Lots of people want to be, they want to compromise. They want to somehow pollute their Christianity. So James 1:27 clearly says that there is a right and a wrong. That's the word pure. So that's the first idea. So to help you care, you got to understand, caring or being compassionate is about being pure before God. It's a pure, it's a holy idea. So pure and undefiled religion in the sight of God, our God and Father, is to visit orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself unstained by the world. So the first idea is that first word, pure. There is a right, there is a wrong before God. And it's right, it's holy, it's pure to be compassionate. And then it says undefiled. That's the second idea. See the word undefiled? Well, undefiled is pushing the idea of priority. So it is similar to the idea of pure or holy, but undefiled is emphasizing importance, priority. So pure and undefiled, it's like this. Holy, holy, number one, top priority before God. Undefiled means I'm not going to be distracted. It's important to care. It's important to be compassionate. In a world that doesn't care, in a world that walks away from the broken, the wounded, the isolated. So pure and undefiled religion, that being Christianity, caring is priority number one. So if you were to say, okay, today I got 50 things to do, what is God going to say it should be at the top of your priority? It should be compassion. Why? Because compassion is right. Helping people is the essence of Christianity. Pure and undefiled religion in the sight of our God and Father. Now, here's the third idea. See that in the sight of our God and Father? Notice the word sight. Here's the third idea. You say, Roger, I don't care. You say, Roger, I want to care. Okay. If you want to get your life right, if you want to be right before God, if you want to do the right thing before God, the third idea is that notice the word sight in verse 27. Here's the point. God sees everything. He sees. He not only sees everything you do and everything you don't do, but he oversees. He's God. He's our Father. As a child growing up, I believe my dad and my mom had eyes in the back of their head. I believe my mom and dad had eyes at school on me. That my mom and dad had eyes in the neighborhood. And I was always turning my head left and right, looking to see if mom and dad were watching me. You probably did the same. What do you do when a police officer drives by? You probably keep a good eye on that police officer because you know they're watching. So pure and undefiled religion in the sight of our God and Father is this. It's to visit orphans, it's to visit widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. So the third idea is God sees everything. Now just pause for a moment. Nothing is a secret. Nothing is a secret. Oh, you think you can keep secrets, but the fact of the matter is you can't. You may keep secrets from other people, but not from God. God sees everything. So he knows what's right, and he's looking to see if people will do the right thing, show compassion. He's looking, he's watching to see, Roger, will you truly care for that person, for that individual, for that person who's struggling, for that person who doesn't have it together in the sense of finances or self-control, or the list goes on and on and on. All right, number four. Number four is that little phrase, visit orphans. You see that? So orphans here would be children without parents, biological parents. So you see real quickly where this is going. True, pure, holy Christianity is caring for children who don't have a mom or dad. In our world, we would call that possibly foster care or adoption. Now, there's lots of ways that we can apply this verse. Sometimes we have children whose mom and dad are in prison, and these kids might be living with relatives. They might be living with some court-appointed oversight. As you look at the idea of orphans, there's no dad, there's no mom, biological. These kids are top priority to God. These kids need love, compassion. They don't want to hear you or watch you, I don't care. They want to hear and watch you, I truly care. So it's holy, it's pure, and it's top priority to God, because God is watching, and God cares, and God oversees for you to care for children. And specifically children whose mom or dad is not in the picture. You can go to your own family, you can go to your neighbors, you can go to the church family, you can go to the public world, and there's lots of children without tender, loving care. And that's a priority to God. Question, do you care? Is it a priority to you of helping children without a mom or dad? That's a big question, isn't it? See, that's true religion. That's undefiled Christianity. That's pure Christianity. Is when your heart aches for children who don't have a mom or dad. Where do you think they will be in 5 years without someone showing compassion, caring, affirming, loving, correcting, inspiring? So the fourth idea or way to help you care is to understand that children with no parents need help. God says so. It's a big deal to God. It's priority number one. Number five. Now, the fifth idea to help you truly care for people, truly care, show compassion, is this idea of caring for widows. Now, the widows here would just indicate no husband, But you can now make application from no husband to separated to divorced to single moms, single dads, not just by death, but by a number of different challenges or situations, right? So how many single moms or how many older widows do you know? Can they use an extra hand? And the answer is yes. Absolutely. Is your heart sensitive to a single mom raising an autistic child? Is your heart tender to a single mom raising 2, 3, 4, 5 kids because the husband walked away? Is your heart sensitive when at church here comes the compassion offering, the benevolence offering? Is your heart sensitive to wanting to help people who are struggling? So, widows, single moms, single dads need help. You say, Roger, I don't care. Well, that's why we're talking about James 1:27. Lots of people 2,000 years ago were narcissistic. They just cared about themselves. And James is saying his priority number one is to keep God in focus. And that means there's some things that are right and there's some things that are wrong. And one of the priority things that's right before God is compassion for children, for single moms, single dads, for widows, older women who lost a husband or separated or divorced. It's tough. Notice that little phrase, in their distress. See it? In their distress, they need help. Pretty much every day of the week, I get an opportunity to help a widow or a single mom or a single dad, pretty much every day of the week. You can join the priority ministry of God. You can participate in holy and pure Christianity by just simply saying, how can I help? It might be helping just financially. It might be, can I call you to be a babysitter? It might be helping deliver food. It might be helping to provide furniture or help a single or a widow move. Or maybe just recently, just visiting and talking, taking the time to listen, not being entertained, not being somehow on a fast track. Just slow down and visit single moms, single dads, widows. That shows you care. All right, the seventh idea. So first off, we had pure means right before God. Second, undefiled means priority number one. Third means God sees everything. He oversees. And fourth means children with no parents need help. And fifth, single moms and widows, single dads need help, right? And six. So the idea for number 6, look back at the end of verse 27. It says to keep one's self. Pause right there. Keep one's self. So number 6 is self-control. Self-control. If you want to care and practice true Christianity, you have to practice self-discipline. Delayed gratification. You've got to take the time to care. Keep oneself. That's restraining yourself. That's unleashing yourself. Keep oneself. That means you are able to guide your resources. Keep. You can manage. Keep it. You can hold on to it. Now watch. Keep oneself, number 7, unstained by the world. Run from sin. Unstained by the world, literally, is to keep yourself, practice self-control, and not go down the path of sin, of evil, of narcissism, of I don't care. So to keep oneself on the right track, the pure track, the holy track, not the wrong track, I don't care. That's your life. Now, let me make a couple of observations. Lots of people start caring and then they get burned. Lots of people care, show compassion, and then they get burned out. So here's a couple of ideas. Number 1, in terms of how to avoid burnout in giving compassion. How to avoid burnout in helping people. Helping people at sometimes is a mystery. Whether that be a child or whether that be parents, single parents, or whether that be widows. I mean, it's just like you can be exhausted helping others. So, suggestion, remember, you can't do everything. Lots of us get caught up in the savior mode. There's one savior, that's Jesus. So you can't do everything, but you can do one thing. So you have to decide what that one thing is. And I would suggest another idea is seek wisdom. People take advantage of other people. People burn other people out because they take advantage of your kindness. So why not compare notes? It could be with pastors in the church. It could be with other confidential people that you can talk to. So maybe that family, that person, that individual is being helped, and maybe their need is being met today. So maybe you should wait for a week or 2, or 3, or 4. So compare notes. Here's another suggestion to avoid burnout. Discernment. Be discerning. Just because someone asks for help doesn't mean they need help. What they may need is help in a different way than what you can provide. So give some thought to discernment. You think they need this type of help, but maybe they don't need money. Maybe they just need a babysitter. Maybe they just need a financial course that you can't do, but somebody else could do. Maybe they are taking advantage of lots of people. It's easy for people who are hurting, who are in crises. You saw that word distress in verse 27. Crises. It's easy for people to just get totally dismayed, totally frustrated. And they think the sky is falling, and when in reality the sky is not falling, but a little bit of help could go a long way, not a lot of help. I hope that you care. I hope that you truly care. It would be sad that you're the type of person that doesn't care. But if every week you're not showing compassion actively in some way, specific way, tangible way, practical way, then James is simply saying, pure and undefiled Christianity before God? No. No. You got apathy. You're lazy. And coming to grips with being honest about your laziness or your apathy, lots of people hide and isolate because they don't really care. Now, here's a thought for those of you that are empathetic, those of you that truly care. Be careful to care for yourself. Remember that little phrase, everything in moderation, in the Bible? You see, you need to sacrifice for others, but you also need to sacrifice to care for yourself, because you can't care for others if you're not caring for yourself. So you have to be wise. You have to stay balanced. You can pick up the phone and ask a friend to care and to cover your absence. We live in a world where lots of people have needs. And I pray that you are the caring type. Because if you're the caring type, that you're the compassionate type, you're fulfilling James 1:27. I really care for people. You're practicing the pure and undefiled Christianity in the sight of God, in the sight of our Father. You're showing compassion. If you're not showing compassion to children, or single moms, or single dads, or widows, if you just don't want to be around those people, specifically, especially in crises, then you are corrupted. You have been corrupted by the world, according to verse 27, the last phrase. You need to checkmate. You need to run from the world. You need to run from the sin of compromise, or the sin of laziness or apathy, or the sin of bitterness or anger. Hey, I didn't get any help. I'm not going to help that person. Well, this is Walk and Talk 100, March 10th. It's starting to warm up. It's a beautiful morning. I hope you care. My prayer is that you do not withhold, that you give your compassion away, just as God has given his compassion to you through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. As we head toward March and April and move toward Easter, can I just nudge you? Start picking up the phone. Start reaching out, inviting people to worship Jesus Christ on Easter morning. Easiest time in the world to invite people to church. You can do it by email, by text, by telephone call, by a face-to-face invite. You're invited this coming Sunday. We have worship at 8, 9:30, and 11. Some of our services are live streamed and some are not. We also have 11 o'clock in the upper room, as well as 6 p.m. Also want to quickly close with, it's possible next Thursday, I think that is March 17th, we will be headed to Israel with 17 people. We're headed on a 7-day trip to Israel to build faith in Jesus. You're invited, not this year, but next year, 2023, early March, we'll go again. If you have an interest in going to Israel, contact me, contact the church office, 480-839-0926 for 2023 10-day trip to Israel to build your faith in the Bible, in God. We encourage you over the few Thursdays in March, we'll be doing the walk and talk, perhaps, maybe, from Israel. So keep your eyes and ears open. It's a great day. It's a wonderful day to show compassion because God shows compassion to you. Blessings.